Hey guys, so Bitcoin and crypto have been bouncing, but how high can they go? I'll go ahead and break it down, tell you the exact price level that I'm watching because most people won't get this. With that said, let's go ahead and break it down in the charts. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I do break down Bitcoin and crypto each and every week here on Rager Crypto. So make sure that you're subscribed. Bitcoin is bouncing, but currently we're having a bit of a red candle here in the 4-hour. But bottom line, the key areas that you need to know. First off, you needed to break 112. Bitcoin has done that. Can it show strength and hold that level? If it can't bounce on a dip at 112, then I'm not really interested in adding more spot right here. You need to know that because, again, you want to buy Bitcoin either at the bottoms or when it's showing strength. Now, I don't necessarily see a sign of a bottom right here, but at the same time, I'm seeing signs of strength. So if anything, it's just range bound and going sideways with bouncing. Markets don't go straight up and down. It will bounce after a big dip. It will pull back during an uptrend. That's just going to happen. Now, 116 to 117 is a key area for two reasons. One thing, that's the CME gap. A lot of times these gaps get filled. It's kind of a meme. Okay, doesn't have to be filled. I'm just letting you know that. But a lot of times it does push up to those levels of the CME gap. But that is just kind of the key area that flipped to resistance. As you notice, the last two times it's come up here, unable to break above. Now, if it can't break above, that's just a lower high, meaning a downtrend on the lower time frames. Now, got to break above it. If it can't do it, it's really showing signs of weakness. So that is the area that if it can break above, I'm looking to buy more. Now, as far as the ETFs, some positive ETFs. That's great. Not massive inflows for the Bitcoin ETF, but it's better than the red, right? Which is good. Now, as far as liquidations go, we've had some major liquidations over the past couple of weeks. This market right now is primarily pushed around liquidations. What does that mean? You got to get people off sides. You got to get people to high leverage. By doing that, you have to get them either mega bearish or mega bullish. Now, we've recently been mega bearish, prices pushing up. I think what we can potentially see, depending on what the stock market does, is potential push up again to 116, 117, and then get people off sides if they are mega bullish in those areas before Bitcoin can show strength. Now, as far as big news in the market, Nvidia beats their earnings, but in the end, it still pulled back because it was not perfection. And so right now, for the market to do well, these Mag 7 and big tech companies really have to show perfection with their earnings because we have a lot of big things coming up in the market with job reports, labor data, as well as inflation data in early September. Ooh, ugly candle here on Nvidia. And so I'm not going to be trading this right now, but overall, if this does start to pull back a little bit, that will show some weakness in the market. And I do expect the rest of the market to react accordingly. Stocks are at all-time highs, which is great. But a lot of times, again, I like to see people get off sides if this is going to dump a big push up before a pullback. Again, we have to take this level by level. And if anything, don't trade based on what stocks do when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto, because there is zero correlation with stocks and Bitcoin at the moment. That's why I want you to watch these key price levels and use technical analysis in order to decide whether or not it's a buy opportunity. Now, how low can Bitcoin go? We've discussed that in previous videos. Really, if Bitcoin were to break back down below this 112 level, it would at least sweep this 108, 109 low. And then what would happen is it's likely would make its way back down here to the daily 200 between 105, which is the prior low, and then 103. Okay, so 105 to 103 is probably a pretty good place to bid when it comes to Bitcoin if it does break down. And if it does, for any reason, go lower than that, I would look to probably around 98 to 95. Let's not talk about that yet. Don't want to talk about because pure speculation. It might not even break down below 108. But until it shows strength, I'm not really interested in buying it if it's just lower highs. So again, mid-range right here, not really a low, not really a place to bid to show strength. So it's just ranging back and forth. I'm not super interested in adding a lot here. It's higher risk. But again, if you're a long-term Bitcoin holder, fantastic to dollar cost average into, because Again, I think that we're going to break 200 in the next 2 months, 200K. So, whether you buy it at 112 or 105, it does not really matter if you're a long-term investor. Now, as far as Ethereum goes, Ethereum has also looked weak. Right now, you're seeing a lot of shills on media from Tom Lee and other people with these Ethereum treasuries that are really just bullish, and just Ethereum is going to 5K in the next few weeks. Ethereum's going to 10K. And to me, I don't really care what people say. The price has to do the talking, not people. So right now, Ethereum has not really done a lot of bullish talking after the recent pullback because we cannot break above 4,700. And if Ethereum cannot break above this level, this 4,700, again, let the market prove itself. If it can't prove itself to be strong, it's not worth buying yet. And so Ethereum is the same thing. And what you're noticing also, why is this maybe weak right now? That's because there's a lot of talk with Solana and treasuries of Solana. Now, if you noticed in my previous video, I was marking out Solana down here, and I did discuss the key level to break is this 196 to 198, and to buy a retest of that area. Now, if you followed that, we were below that. I think we're about 195. It broke above here, came back down, retested, held, and then shot up. And I also said, after putting in bids right here, I also said buy a pullback to 200. It did that because, again, this level has been a key level, not only psychologically because it's a $200, that full dollar, $200 level is a huge psychological level because anything below that looks cheap after it breaks above 200. So people bought there. And also, again, this was just a key level when it comes to the support area. If you put bids there to rebuy, you're now up, to 215. So Solana is showing a lot of strength, and most of that has to do with the treasury talk. So expect Solana to continue to suck some liquidity and volume out of Ethereum. Now, if we go ahead and go to the Solana Ethereum chart, this is comparing Solana and Ethereum. What are you going to notice here on the weekly 200 EMA? That's where it bounced. And so really we got to a point to where this was a key buying indicator that Solana is going to do strong. And the timing of the treasuries was also really good. So with that said, Solana likely bottomed out against Ethereum here. So look for it to continue up. Now, will it get pullbacks? Will there be times where Ethereum outperforms Solana? Yes, there will be. But bottom line, Solana could be one of the biggest trades in the next 6 months, okay? Especially with treasury data. And with that narrative, you buy the narratives, you buy the rumors, you sell the news. And with that said, that is a strong asset starting to outperform Ethereum. And I think that could continue in Solana's also outperforming Bitcoin massively right now too. Okay, Chainlink is probably the last one I want to look at because Chainlink, again, a very strong narrative, but much like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana is probably the only thing that's performing really right now. But outside of that, Chainlink, ETH, Bitcoin, looking pretty weak right now, right? So looking pretty weak. It can't get back above this 2450 level. And because of that, I'm not interested in buying Link either. So I'm waiting for Link to show strength. If not, potential rejection here to go further down, I'll buy from there. That's why I talk about these price levels in these videos. If you watch a lot of other videos on YouTube, again, I love a lot of YouTubers out there, but a lot of them are just sensational bullish and they only tell you good things. I want to not only tell you good things, I also want you to be prepared and to be able to have enough funds to buy the dip. In fact, even this week, I made a video breaking it down that only 1% will get this, a reality check about making money. And I did discuss potential dip opportunities in the future, not necessarily today, but just to be ready, knowing that we're going into the seasonality to where Bitcoin and crypto pulls back September, October. And with that's just to keep in your head as a reminder. That's not saying that I'm bearish. In fact, I'm not bearish whatsoever. Even though the price pulls back a little bit, I believe that it's not going to be a big dip. I believe that 10, 20%, not a big deal. In altcoins, maybe a little bit more than that. But bottom line, I'm very bullish. And I've said multiple times again, I do believe, based on a lot of indicators, that Bitcoin has yet to top. And in fact, if you look on CoinGlass at the bull market peak indicators, it's a 100% hold. most of these indicators of top signals are only at about 50%. And so the one that I use the most that I've talked about, if you're not a watcher of the channel, is the Bitcoin quantile model. And this is the only model in the last cycle that caught both the tops, okay, that I've seen. And so when that catches a top, what happens is price, this orange line here in the middle, will actually go above that purple line towards the top, right under the blue line, okay? And so what that says is that's around $223,000. That's a 2x from here. So yes, I believe that Bitcoin can 2x between now and the next 6 to 8 months. So that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. Until then, we could have some volatility until Bitcoin shows strength, or if we get a dump in a major pullback, 105, 103, maybe even below that, those are really good buying opportunities where I'm going to dollar cost average in. But until then, showing some weakness, I'm not super interested in buying a lot right here until Bitcoin in the market proves itself. As far as that goes, some things to look at in the future is on September 5th, we're a week away, okay? That will be the U.S. employment report data. And so why is that important? That's because the Federal Reserve have shifted from pure inflation to job report data. If this job data comes out and it's negative, it could impact the market in a negative way. So I think potentially, based on what price does here with stocks and Bitcoin, we could see a run up to next week, or we could see a pullback and then a run up from there. Basically, what you want to do is take it day by day and make sure that Bitcoin and crypto can prove itself. Again, got to get above this 116 to 117 level, but some key areas in the calendar are coming up, from the job data to inflation data on the second week of September. So a lot of volatility ahead. Make sure that the market proves itself. But that is a key level that I'm watching, not only with the CME gap, but also to just to break that downtrend on Bitcoin. I want it to show strength, okay? So other than that, FedWatch still shows 85% rate cuts here in the month of September, a month away. September 16th, 17th, make sure to watch for that. That could change between now with the job data and the earnings. But overall, Bitcoin long-term, next 6 to 7 months is looking pretty good. And I do believe that we will get higher highs. Until then, we're just ranging here at the lows. I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm always going to break it down for you, tell you what to watch, tell you the buying opportunities and where to get the best returns for your money when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. So with that said, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, I'm continuing to break these markets down every day, every week, and I'm probably going to have a live stream coming up this week as well. Make sure that you're there. So go ahead and subscribe below. Get those notifications for live streams, because I also like to give away Bitcoin. And so if you're watching those, you'll get maybe $100 of Bitcoin if you're the winner. So that's it for me today, guys. Just make sure that you continue to watch Bitcoin. If it can sustain 112, we want to watch that. If it can break above 116, 117, I'm likely to flip bullish if it can do that. Other than that, it's just ranging sideways. And the one thing to watch in the market, if anything, is Solana, which has looked really strong, but again, is still not immune to pullbacks. But if there's any crypto that I'm in right now, it's going to be Solana, as long as it can hold this uptrend. Okay, guys, so with that said, you guys have a great rest of your day. Make sure to trade safe, and I will see you on the next one.